Obama talking about his record on jobs. Senator Bernie Sanders joins me tonight. Senator, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming over at this hour. Well, the president, I want to talk about some of the hits that he has taken from the right wing. Obamacare is what they call it. They all talk about repealing it. Tonight, the president made it very clear that he doesn't want to go back. How important was that to make sure that, look, we've come this far, we're not turning around?
Ed, let's be clear. We've had a dysfunctional health care system. 50 million Americans, no health insurance. Millions more who are underinsured, high premiums, high deductibles. 45,000 people dying every single year because they don't get to a doctor on time. What do the Republicans have to say about health care? What, cut Medicare, cut Medicaid, repeal the health care reform bill? That's insane. So I think the health care reform bill is a step forward. Obviously, we have got to defend it. Frankly, we have got to do more. We're the only country in the industrialized world that doesn't have a national health care program guaranteeing health care to all people, yet we end up spending almost twice as much per capita on health care.
The president hit a lot of avenues tonight. He talked about the payroll tax cut, which you're not a big fan of. He did talk about the tax code, and, of course, taxes have been in the news a lot in the last 48 hours. Did he go far enough? Making the case, you know that graph I show on TV, the vulture chart, the red line and the blue line. Did he address that enough tonight?
He addressed it probably, in my view, he could have addressed it more. The American people are beginning to catch on that there's something fundamentally wrong in our society when so few have so much and so many have so little, when the top 400 wealthiest people in this country own more wealth than the bottom half of America. So to be talking about asking, finally, the richest people in this country to be paying their fair share, it's an important step forward.
But he's not going to get any help on that, is he? I mean, the way this is all set up, this was as much about winning the minds and the hearts of the American people to send the right direction as it was about getting any kind of legislation done.
Clearly, in their hearts and souls, the Republicans are there to defend the wealthiest people in this country. But I'm not sure that if we can create the kind of grass movement and public consciousness that it is insane to be talking about more tax breaks for the rich when we have an increased number of people living in poverty, when we need to invest in job creation. I am not sure that we can't win that fight.
The president said we can't have it both ways. He's talking about the tax code. He's talking about the tax rates. He's talking about the spending. He asked tonight to us to take half the money that we spent on military and turn it into nation building here. How does that play?
I think that's exactly right. I think what he's saying, on one hand, we have got to pay off our debt, and that's right. On the other hand, we have got to invest in rebuilding our infrastructure, creating millions of jobs, transforming our energy system. I think he was exactly right on that issue.
Where was he weak tonight? What did you want to hear more?
Well, I'll tell you where he was weak. I get nervous when the president talks about working with Republicans about reforming entitlement programs. You know what that really means? Let's be frank. That means cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Are they coming?
If he proposes that, I will be leading the opposition against that. Social Security has not contributed one nickel to the deficit because it's funded by the payroll tax, has a $2.5 trillion surplus. I will fight to defend Social Security.
He didn't say that tonight.
He didn't say it, but there's code language out there. When you work with Republicans, I forgot the exact wording, to reform entitlement programs, that's the code word.
Was he not strong enough on the big three tonight?
Of course he was not strong enough. He should have got up there and said, you know what, in the midst of a terrible recession, I promise you, we are not going to cut one nickel of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We are going to move toward deficit reduction. We're going to do it in a way that is fair and responsible. Cut military spending, ask the wealthy to pay their fair share of taxes, and end these absurd corporate loopholes.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks so much. Next, an exclusive interview with White House Domestic Policy Council Director Cecilia Munoz. Later, taxes were